And the Joey Jones Show continues from Mugshots Grill and Bar on Airport Boulevard. Another bye week for the Jags as we get ready for homecoming a week from today. And so we just took a look at the South Alabama offense. Let's look at the defensive side of the ball now. And outside looking in, it seems like consistency is really the biggest thing that we need to work on. Is that accurate? I mean, we have some times where we're just lights out.
Well, I think that the biggest thing was in the game the other day is the big plays. We gave up 3 long pass plays, and if you take those pass plays out of the game,
right,
we win the ball game. And our defensive staff knows that, our players know that. So we've got to stop the big play. That's every defense. It's not anything new that we just came up with, But we got to stop that and understand that those kind of plays, especially a team like Troy, who kind of lives and dies off the big play, you got to take that away from them.
But it seems, too, that when we need that big stop, we're able to come up with it. When we're going up against a Tennessee offense, we can shut those guys down. Same thing with Western Kentucky. I mean, we've got it in us to be one of the best defenses out there.
We do, and we play good football. We just got to, we can always get better. And it's like we can get better on offense, like we can get better on special teams. But I'm going to challenge these guys this week and have challenged them, and because we can be the best in the Sun Belt, and that's what our goal is.
And one of the things we talked about in the offseason is the ability to pressure the quarterback, and it really seems that we made a lot of strides. We saw that in the Tulane game. Heck, we saw it on that last play against Troy. We pressured the quarterback. He just kind of threw it up.
Yeah.
So we've been able to get to the quarterback pretty effectively.
I think that's been a big plus for us this year. We have gotten to the quarterback a little bit more, and that's been a big positive for us.
I talked about your role offensively. Talk about your role defensively in week-to-week game planning when it comes to you and Coach Shearer.
Really not a lot other than the simple fundamental things that I try to stress with them each week and tell them, say, look, like in the staff meeting, we talked about, we got to get better fundamentally in the little things in the off week, and that's the biggest thing. As far as scheme goes, I don't really get involved. I want to know what's going on. He tells me, and I know what he's calling, but other than that, he's going to run the defense.
Does he ever go, look, you were an offensive guy. What do you know?
He probably does behind his breath. He hasn't told me to my face yet.
He's not going to say that in front of you, right?
Right.
Well, I tell you, again, the defense, when called upon, they seem to have responded most of the time, and you got to feel pretty good about where they're progressing.
I do, and and the thing is, we can get a lot better, and that's the thing about it. We're playing good defense now, but we want to play great defense.
Right, absolutely. All right, well, let's bring in our guest for today, and that is the Director of Football Operations, Brent Bredsole, who's been around a long time around this football program. Glad to have you on the show. And, Coach, let's talk about just your role or what you've seen. Let's start with what you've seen with the program. From the time you started to the time now, I mean, it's night and day. It's got to be. And that's fun. This is where we want to be, right?
Yeah, it has been since 2009. I mean, where we've been led, Coach Jones has been our leader, and he's taken us where we are today to 5 years into the program. That's the first thing. It's so hard to believe that we're 5 years into this thing,
right.
And from the day that Coach started this on the steps of the Mitchell Center to where we are today is just amazing, and how it's scary too about how fast time flies, So.
Right now we only have about 5 minutes, but tell me what you do as Director of Football Operations. I know it takes longer than that.
Well, the main thing is I assist the head coach. I mean, if you put it in a nutshell, if he tells me to do something, that's what I handle and help him with. Hopefully he takes some pressure off of him in doing a lot of the things. I mean, travel is probably the biggest thing during the season that I do. Moving 150 people around is pretty tough. The other aspects of that, just a liaison to the NFL scouts. We're having a lot of scouts that come in now, so it spends a lot of time with that during the season and during the off season. And then a liaison to different factions on the campus, and then just keeping the team, doing what I can to help Coach Jones to keep it organized. There's a lot that goes on besides the X's and O's, and that's the thing that I try to help him with.
Well, you talked about the scouts coming in. How cool is that to see, the Giants or the Saints or the Jets or whoever it may be coming in to look at our guys? Right,
it's happened. This year we've had already 18 teams out of the 32 have been in, so we've had a lot of them come in. We'll have all 32 in before the season's over with. We've got another one coming this week, so it's been about one per week, sometimes 2 per week that come in. But it's fun to talk about the guys because you're helping them. You're hoping that something that, they have to do it. I can't, Coach Jones talks to them as well, and our strength coach and our trainer. We can't say anything that makes them an NFL player. They've got to do it on the field. But, hopefully we can give them an idea what kind of kid this is, what kind of guy they're getting if they do want to choose to bring him into camp. And it's fun to watch them develop and get there. And that's been the enjoyable part for us, to help kids.
Yeah, and I know you couldn't do what you do without him. I mean, invaluable, right?
The thing about running the program here is everybody's got a job to do, and everybody's got an important job to do, and nobody's job is any more important than anybody else's. That means that the head coach's job, and you got a GA's job. His job is just as important, and that's the way I treat everybody. And I feel like that's the reason we had some success is those guys really bought in, and they understand what's best for the team.
And Coach, how have you seen the brand change? I don't know if it's changed. I don't know if that's the correct wording, but that brand is, it started here, it's here, and it just continues to grow. How have you seen that perception of the program grow?
Well, you see it in some other areas across the Bay where we spend a lot of time. There's South Alabama stuff now where
Right.
it wasn't 3 or 4 years ago, and that's continued to grow each year. But also you get a lot of recognition from now that we're playing Tennessee and playing Tulane and Navy and those. A lot of recognition. People seem to they're noticing who we are more. So when you do hear a recruit talk about South Alabama, it's not, I don't know who they are. It's, hey, I saw you guys play the other day
Right.
on TV. I think that's the biggest thing.
Right, and we got a lot of play in that Georgia-Tennessee game. They kept mentioning South Alabama
Right.
all the time,
Yeah.
which was really cool. And lastly, in your dealings with everybody in the community, when somebody says, why is South Alabama an attractive place to play, what would be your answer?
Well, because of the opportunity they have to play at a Division I school, the city of Mobile would be a big draw. I mean, you go to other places, they're not as fortunate as we are to have a city like we have here to recruit to. And I've recruited to some people that are in the back. I was at a school one time where you had to drive 42 miles to get off the interstate to go to the school. That's hard to recruit to. But here you have something to recruit to, not just the school, but the people and the city. And I think that's why it's so attractive.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we appreciate the time, appreciate everything you do. Always good to see you, man.
Thank you. Same to you, Pat.
All right. Well, coming up, we'll take a look around the Sun Belt Conference. We'll take a look at one of the preseason favorites who continues to struggle on the football field. We'll talk about that and look at today's games when we get back on the Joey Jones Show on UTV 44.